Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon. Not sure what time it is actually, but um, first of all, I wanted to just say thank you to so many of you that responded to my soul's anguish post the other night regarding my aunt. Sometimes at night, my mom used to say, "Never talk about things at night because emotions run higher." Hey, Lynn, but and that's what I was feeling that night. I mean, it's not that it's not true, but I really wanted to just say thank you to start this post. Say thank you to so many of you that reached out to say your experiences with the subject at hand of our loved ones who are isolated and who are people that are dying alone, and in your personal experiences, how that it's affected you. So it was very, very helpful for me. So I wanted to thank you for that. Also wanted to, just in the light of a new day, bring another point indirectly regarding this topic. Today, my aunt is still in a nursing home, to my understanding, lonely, sad, has some pain. Hey Molly, thank you. Um, like everything is this, probably, I haven't heard anything different, so let me just go from that premise that everything in terms of her world is exactly as it was the night I posted when I was in such pain. And the point I thought about today that I wanted to share is nothing changed except my choice of how to think about it, how to feel about it. In so many times in our life, the only thing that really is where the pain lives is in our thought, and how that thought creates emotions, accompanying emotions. Nothing outwardly has changed. Everything is the same. And what makes today hopeful, what makes today inside me, because that's the only existence, that's the only reality I have, is what I allow to happen inside me. And so, as much as I have compassion for my aunt or for anyone who is suffering in any way, and compassion is such an important quality to have in your life, and it's a fine line to allow yourself to be compassionate to the point where then you shut down your existence because of so much pain. If we allowed ourselves to be and I don't think that's really the definition of compassion, is to allow yourself to go try to feel as much of everyone's pain as you can. You can't. If you try to even do that, many of you are empathic. Like you get what I'm talking about, because when people suffer, it affects you so deeply that it can shut you down. So what I wanted to share is kind of like having, and I do have one of these but it was tested with my aunt, right? All this is a test for us, by the way. You think you have your foundation set in your life. You think you know what you believe. You think you believe what you believe until what? Until it's tested. And that's what my aunt's situation did for me the other night. It said, "Well, Kim, what's your death frame?" So this is that's why I called this the death frame, is because every single part of us, if you could have a backdrop, a foundation, however you want to picture it, whether it's your foundation you build your life from, or a backdrop that all of your content of your life fits into, however you want to picture it, it's your choice. But let's just call it the framing of my life. If I look at death in the frame of it's horrible, it's tragic, it's the end, it's unfair, it's any of those things, those will be traps, or those will trap me into the accompanying emotional response to that frame. And the frame is really the important thing to think about, because nothing outwardly can I even control it. No, I really can't do anything about my aunt's situation. Can I pray for her? Could I communicate with her as best I can to tell her how much I love her? Yes, 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 and all of that. But how I hold something, what my frame is, what my foundation is of a subject will determine my thought and emotional response to it, which impacts the only thing I can control is how I'm thinking about it and how that accompanying emotion, the resulting emotions. So it really tested my, when I had to have my little come to Jesus talk with myself. Like, Kim, what do you really believe about this? What do I believe about death in general? I have done, many of you know and have seen me talk about, like, I went on a search in YouTube, and I highly suggest you do this if this sounds, if this appeals to you. And it will help you create a frame about the death subject in general. Whether it's COVID, COVID has just brought death to our forefront. Like way massive amounts of death. And we got the death count, the impact, the infection, the hospital, the morgue, the trucks that with dead people stacked up. Like the death subject is in our face right now. And I look at that as an ability now to decide or to confirm, change, if that's what it ends up doing, my frame about the subject. And it's just confirmed to me, and my Aunt Bertie's situation has confirmed to me the frame that I really do have for the death subject, which is, you can agree or disagree. It's not, this post is not up for, I'm not saying, my opinion isn't going to be dependent on whether you agree or disagree, so I just try to listen to information from a, what resonates with me, not from agree, disagree standpoint. But what it came to me the other night was, it brought to me again back to what is your frame, Kim? What are you actually, how do you hold death? And when I did my after death, all these people that have died and come back, you guys, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I even did an interview with the man, that his video I found, and I reached out and he did an interview. Many of you saw that video, Jeff Olson. It was a powerful video of this man that pretty much had died and experienced what happens after death and came back to tell about it. And he's not, there's so many thousands of stories. If you want to create a foundation or create a frame for you to put the subject of death into, I would highly recommend you go listen to all the stories about these people that there's many common denominators of what they say happens when they come back. They don't know each other. They didn't read a book. Some of it was back in the 70s and 80s before there was even internet to even find out about these things. And when they're telling their stories, I just go, wow, thank you. Thank you. And it also fits with a lot of my religious upbringing, scriptural, some of it not, but a lot of it. So I don't agree or disagree. It's just what resonates. And when I really listen to these people that come back and say what happens when they die, actually, they don't die. They don't die. In fact, they're listening. Some of them hover over their body, and they listen to people saying they're dead. And they're like, hello, I'm here, I'm not dead. Why are you saying that? And then when they go and have this cool spiritual experience with them, their real consciousness is there. Their body's down on the table or down in the car accident or down there. They see their body. And they're not their body. And I'm not my body. And you're not your body if you have that frame. And we aren't our body. And so when these people go to this light and love, and some of them have a tunnel, and some of them have loved ones that come get them. Absolutely. In fact, I was with my dad and my cousin both when they passed, and they were both kind of in a coma before. And so many people talk about how their loved one even speaks and says hi, and they see a dead relative that's already physically dead, but obviously not dead because they're coming to get them. So these are all stories and ideas that can help you create this frame that gives you hope for this person that you have lost, who you're going to lose. Many people, if they don't have this kind of frame, death is a tragic, horrible, and it's painful no matter what. Like, I've had this frame even when my mom died and my dad died, and It's still painful because you miss them. But if you have a frame to put these experiences into, and a belief that holds you, that's why there's no atheists in the, what is it called? The rabbit hole? No. Something hole. The foxhole. There it is. There's no atheists in foxholes. Why? Because your soul knows. And I believe angels even come with you in those last few moments if you're alone. No one dies alone. No one dies alone. That's the frame that I came to with my aunt's story the other night, is she's not alone. And the more she can turn inward, and the more we can turn inward and actually send love and energy through the intangible. I can't be there physically to hold you, but I'm going to hold you in my faith and my emotional connection, because there's power in all that. That's another frame I have. And that when they do die, I look at the death count now and go, wow, look at all those people who were maybe in their current situation suffering. They maybe had other they had diabetes, they were in pain, they had cancer, and they got to die. Yay! Yay! And I don't mean to be insensitive about it, but to me it's like there are no accidents. Nobody dies alone, and nobody dies not at their time. That's another frame. People die when it's time to die, their time to die. And does that mean we're reckless? No. Don't hear this as all or nothing. I don't mean that it means anyone can just go do it. But you know what? People are going to do whatever they do. And that's all factored into the divine order. Because we are not our own. We are here with a plan, with a purpose, with our death, our whole time here. Another one of my backdrops, my frames, is our whole time here is a blip on the eternal screen anyway. So it's like summer camp. You got mosquitoes, you've got poison oak, right? And you've got fishing, and you've got amazing friends and fun and bad and good, and that's our time on earth. And that's what we're here to do, is have experiences, and it's not the end. And it's actually a blip of the eternal perspective of what we are and who we are and what we're here to do. So when you keep these kinds of things, help me to frame every experience. There are no accidents. There are no surprises. This is all in divine order. All in divine order. Even the person that might be laying there alone and might be feeling lonely, guess what it's going to do? It's going to have them go re-solidify their frame. It's going to help them solidify their source of love and God and the divine in them that they came from, and the angels that are everywhere all the time, the support that we cannot see but is there. If that was our belief and our frame, we would actually have that more in our current reality, and it would provide a lot. I have friends who have lost children to suicide, or children to horrible, tragic accidents. I can't even begin to understand the pain of that. However, I do have this deep sense that if they have a frame to put those experiences into, and many people with religion or spiritual beliefs do, they have a frame, and it eases their pain. And some people go, well, that just makes you feel better. Okay, so it makes me feel better. If you don't really know what the truth is anyway, why don't you pick something that makes you feel better? Wouldn't that make sense? Well, yeah, but it might not be true. Yeah, but it might be true. So given that you don't know necessarily either way, pick something. If you're making it up anyway, pick something that makes you feel better. It's my guess, because that's what I want to do. And I actually, if you go read and listen to these after-death stories, it's more true than not. You just don't know what those stories are saying. So maybe you don't know from ignorance that these things really are happening and are true after we die. Anyway, that's just my ramblings today. And again, thank you so much for everyone who posted on my aunt's post. I feel 1,000,000% better. I feel stronger in my framing. I feel more at peace with everything that's happening, and nothing changed outwardly. It all changed here. That's my point. Love you.